toast to their career.
The perfect combination, boy.
Hemp hard.
Legends in the South.
This is sports fans' only home for the hottest sports show around. These guys are on fire.
You're now listening to KJ and Sean Mack. You're listening to Damn Sports.
Great.
Thanks for tuning in to Sports Fans Only Boxing. I'm your host today, C. Anthony. But first, cup of coffee, 2 creams, no sugar. Today we're going to discuss Mr. Pound for Pound, Big Bud Crawford, one of my favorite fighters right now, not only in the welterweight division, but just in boxing, period. So we'll talk a little bit about him today. Hope y'all been doing well, had some nice fights on last night. But we're going to talk about Crawford and a little bit of my opinion and facts about him. Terrence Crawford, extreme talent, one of the best, definitely worthy of the pound for pound list. Last couple of years, I think he was the best pound for pound over Lomachenko. Lomachenko never revenged his loss. He also had a low count number of opponents, so for me, Terrence Crawford definitely pound for pound. Shortly behind him, number 2, coming with Errol Spence. But we're going to talk about Bud a little bit. What do I think of him? Deceptive power and deceptive quickness. What I mean by that is when you watch his films, you watch him train, you watch him spar, he doesn't seem to put a lot of snap on the punches, and the punches don't seem to be that fast. But up against competition and top-notch competition, it's like boom, boom. And you know, when somebody gets off the canvas, or when somebody shakes off the cobwebs and they say what happened, that means they got hit with something so quick and so hard, they don't even know what happened. They don't know if they slipped and hit their head or you just got knocked out on your feet. That's what happened. So that's what I mean by deceptive when I talk about him. Another key attribute of his, I would say, is he's a switch hitter. So I would kind of, he's reminiscent of Marvelous Marvin Hagler, I would say. Similar. I'm not gonna say better, not on par with Marvin and Marvelous, but definitely, you know, he can knock you out and get you out of there with both hands. He's fought some top-notch competition, I would say. He did work on the boys from the UK, talking about American and also Cal Brook. I will say they weren't in their prime, but they definitely weren't shot fighters, so he's definitely get credit for that. Amir, nap time. Same thing, Cal Brook, out on his feet. So the competition is there, but I want to say boxing has slowed down to me compared to how it was in the past, and has nothing to do with COVID. So I'm hoping that these fighters could at least make it to 50 fights, not 50 wins, just 50 fights in general. Things kind of slowed down. I would like to see them pick up the pace a little bit. With this Crawford thing, Sean Porter looks like the guy that's up next. I think he's the mandatory. If not, Porter's the guy that's willing. He might be the toughest opponent in the sport. I mean by that, he might not knock you out. He might not knock you down. But you're gonna get. He has the deepest gas tank in the sport right now. You fight against him, you're gonna have to go all out, or you're gonna get ran over by Sean, ex-football player, we all know. But it seems to be contract negotiations with these things. I'll say PBC almost versus Top Rank. I would say Top Rank right now, it doesn't seem to be as smooth. PBC seems from the outside looking in like a well-oiled machine. The negotiations with Bob Arum is like hold on, breaking news. Bob Arum think it's still 1996, 97 when he had Floyd Mayweather. He could write small checks, but the game changed. So in a sense, Terrence Crawford, he's doing well, but it seems like he's being shelved by Bob Arum by not making the big fights. The Sean Porter fight, he's kind of lowballing Sean Porter to get that fight popping. PBC, those guys can do a round robin. They make money fighting each other. Going up against, it's kind of like pulling teeth. It's kind of like pulling teeth to get Bob Arum to actually step up and sign and want to pay. I think rumors he wants to pay Sean Porter like $1 million. That's really like small. Keith Thurman demanded $10 million his last 2 fights, I believe. I don't think he got it, but he got close to it. So that's what I'm going to say about Crawford. But he's a hard hitter. He's a puncher. I think that definitely number one in the sport. I would like to see him against Errol Spence. First, I would like to see him go up against Porter. Then I would like to see him get into it with Errol Spence because that's where all the drama is. That's where the next dominant, welterweight champ's gonna come from. Nobody stepped up and been similar to Floyd Mayweather, dominant. That's what we're going through now. We're going through Keith Thurman trying to come back off injury, Sean Porter trying to fight any and everybody, Terrence Crawford trying to get the big fight with a younger fighter. Errol Spence, we just saw what he did, and Errol Spence within 24 hours was back in the gym training, so that's a good sign for him. Might be bad for competition. I will say I'm not sure how Terrence Crawford and Errol's going to turn out, but we're going to talk about that a lot. If we can get the Sean Porter fight popping, he's the mandatory. Him and Terrence Crawford they are / were best friends. Now they're just good friends, but money's on the table. And if Crawford doesn't get one of these big fights, I might have to change my opinion on him. Right now, he's definitely cream of the crop, top of the welterweight division. Him and Errol fighting it out. But if Bob Arum keeps him shelved and he's not able to step in and fight top competition such as Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence, Porter, it's gonna be tough for him to keep that title because there's a lot of competition right now for Sean Porter. He has the best options right now. I think he can rematch Errol Spence. He can do it again with Danny Garcia. Keith Thurman, he can do it again with him. Keith Thurman, I will say with Keith Thurman, I don't want to get off topic, but he was one of my favorites about 4 or 5 years ago. I really thought he was a threat. He hasn't looked the same since the injuries, but that's going to be a good fight if he can actually get Crawford in the ring. I'll give you my prediction on that. I'll break down the keys to victory, the do's and don'ts, in my opinion, of that fight. And today, thanks for tuning in to Sports Fans Only. Boxing, Terrence Crawford, big things coming. Peace.
Quick question, right before we get out of here. I know it's off the cuff, but hey, that's what I do. If you took Mayweather in his prime against Crawford right now, who's in his prime, who you got?
Mayweather, unanimous.
Really? You don't think Bud Crawford could crack the code and possibly land some hard hits on Mayweather?
Yeah, he can land some hits, but Mayweather, he might have the best chin in boxing. Mayweather had 50 fights. I'll do just a little quick math in my head. So he had 50 fights. Saying each fight he took 10 shots to the head. That's 500 shots to the head. And that could be give or take hundreds. That's just a quick analogy. He does have a chin. Every fighter he's fought has put hands on him. He just recovered. That's where the training, that's where the stamina, that's where the conditioning, the no smoking and no drinking come into effect. But Crawford, it's hard to judge, but I don't give him a chance against Mayweather.
Got you.
That's my thoughts on it.
All right.